by golly, I am going to be vindicated. And he kind of laughed and said, well, you know, if you're going to wrestle pigs, you got to get in the mud. Hi, my name's Devin. Today I own several multi-million-dollar companies. We started with $5,000 in a credit card. I don't know the easy way. I only know the hard way. Hey everyone, welcome to the Whiteboard Entrepreneur Podcast, where I give straightforward advice to fuel the entrepreneur in all of us. And today I want to talk about to sue or not to sue pig wrestling. Sue. So to sue or not to sue pig wrestling. So I called up my friend the other day, and he's a mentor of mine, and he always provides really great perspective for me. And I said, I'm so frustrated. This thing happened and these people did us wrong and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I'm right. Here's the documents. I can prove it. You know, I'm going to sue them. By golly, I am going to be vindicated. And he kind of laughed and said, well, you know, if you're going to wrestle pigs, you got to get in the mud. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, man, it's going to get messy. He's like, yeah, sure, you're going to win that pig wrestling contest, but don't think you're going to come out without being muddy. And I was like, okay, I think I get what you're saying. And then since that time, I feel like I've been able to provide a ton of counsel to other folks as well, because we come up, as an entrepreneur, business owner, leader, you come up with situations all the time where you've legally been wronged, right? And maybe you're morally indignant. And maybe you absolutely know that you're right, and you know that you can go and fight, and you know that you can win. But I will tell you that it is messy, right? Lawsuits, legal battles, anything like that is very messy. And it's also draining. And so what I recommend is getting yourself surrounded by peers, surrounded by people in business that can provide perspective to you, like my friend did, and really calling out the various costs of having to do a lawsuit, of having pig wrestling, because like I said, you're going to get messy. And so what I always challenge my friends to, because I get these calls a lot, right? People call up, they're like, D, what would you do? I'm frustrated. I'm so mad. I'm so morally indignant, and I know I'm right. And I say, well, yeah, it sounds like you are right. What if I just tell you you're right and we just avoid this whole lawsuit thing? Because this is the thing that you're going to have to evaluate, because ultimately, if you go down this route, it is going to cost you a lot of money, right? It's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you time, right? Because you're going to spend time with the attorneys. You're going to spend time doing whatever you do, documenting things, digging up stuff, fighting. It's going to cost you emotional tax that you're going to pay at 2 a.m. because you're so mad you can't sleep, right? It's also going to cost you distraction, because during the business hours, you're going to be thinking and working on this lawsuit instead of growing your company. And so the counsel that I give my friends is I say, hey, count those four costs. And if after those 4 costs, you still think it's worth it to be right because the outcome is greater than these 4 costs, then you probably want to get in that mud and wrestle that pig. But if not, man, just let it go. Let it go. It's not worth it, because that mud is stinky. That mud is dirty. That mud is slippery. And I'm going to tell you, you probably aren't going to like how you look, how you feel, and you're not going to enjoy that time in the mud while you're wrestling that pig. I'm Devin. This is a Whiteboard Entrepreneur Podcast, and this is a hard topic because we want to be right. But if you think about these principles I just laid out for you and evaluate that versus pig wrestling, I know it'll help you. This is a Whiteboard Entrepreneur Podcast.